Hey, welcome back to Dirty Shirt Workshop on the bake oven again. Today I'm going to service the motor. Dad had a bucket over this to keep all the rain and stuff out of it, so it should be good. But we did find the plastic on the bucket was just going to pieces out there in the weather. So there was a wren that actually built a nest in here. So I want to get this opened up, make sure there's no sticks and corrosion and stuff like that in there. I really wanted to service this in place, but with the way the mounting system is, I can't get the M bell off without taking it off. And I did test all the screws on this cover here. They're all going to come loose. So I'm going to pull this off of here and we'll be able to see inside and what this looks like. So I'll bring you in for a close-up and get to work. With the fan off here, we can see how this works inside. So this void here, that goes up to the top of the oven. And then there's a plate here, so that's sealed. So air that the fan pulls is only coming from the top of the furnace, or the oven. Okay. Now the other thing, hopefully you'll be able to see here, so there's a door inside here. Okay, so right now you can see all the way down. Let me stick the light in there, or you can't. But basically the burner is down there. Come on, light. The mount for this motor isn't magnetic, so my light don't hang on to it. There we go. But when you move the lever on the side here, that closes the door. Okay. So when it's open, when the burner runs, it's just going to send heat more or less straight up here and out. Okay. But then when you close the door, the heat doesn't go up to the stack. Instead, it has to be circulated through the oven. Okay. So what does that mean? So there are these side vents for it to pull fresh air in, and those side vents actually match up with these holes on the inside here. Okay, so when the burner is running, there's another piece that fits, and this hole here basically lines up with all this fresh air, and that comes down, and that's where some of your fresh air comes from to burn the fire. So depending on how much you open these doors, you can pull all of your burning air from inside the furnace, or you can pull most of your fresh air from outside. But what that does mean is if you have anything flammable with fumes and you have your fire running here, it can burn those fumes. And obviously if it was really high, it could actually cause an explosion. I got a little story about that I might tell you later. I'm not going to try to take the fan off. Likely that's going to be stuck on there, and I don't want to have to figure out a new blade for this thing. So the front end bell and the fan are going to stay put. Boy, that is plumb full of trash. Look at that. Got a bit of a problem here. These are the leads for the windings. You can see they're broken. This looks like it's the old cotton sheathing. So I'm gonna have to pull each one of these leads loose. I'm gonna wrap it with heat shrink and then put some protective motor sleeving on that. This here is this is special sleeving you're supposed to use, protective. These are just some scraps my dad saved. I don't have the right size for this, so hopefully shrink tubing is going to work, and maybe I can get that sleeving over a couple of these. I'm mainly trying to get this sleeving all the way down to where that wire comes out of the coils, because the edge of the slot where the wire is what you got to worry about for where it's going to short out. Hello future self, the switched winding is lead number 1. Wow, that wire is just completely bare. Now if I would have not opened the motor, this insulation would probably have been fine. However, with all the stuff that we found inside, starting it would have moved all that crap around and probably tore this windings up, and the motor would be toast at that point. So this had to happen. Alright, I don't like what I see down there, so I'm going to get some epoxy to seal this up with. This isn't really ideal, but to replace those leads, you basically have to lift the winding. Having that come straight out of the winding like that isn't really the best. Basically trying to get enough in here that it'll run down underneath the wires and seal them up. Now I'll make sure none of these are grounded. Good. Now I'll check the resistance on them. 4 ohms. There we go, 5 ohms. Alright. So, should be good. I guess the other thing, make sure we're not shorted across the start and the run windings. It's not. So, I'm going to let that epoxy cure and get going on this. Good news, there's still oil in the back bushing housing. I'm going to go get my file and probably clean that switch real quick if I can get it in there. All you need to clean your switch contacts is a diamond nail file. Works good. I can't really get in there. Just be real gentle. It doesn't need a lot. There, nice and shiny. Alright, now one thing I'm wanting to do is use the side plug for my cord. I got a conduit elbow that I want to use there. There we go. Let's see if this is going to work the way I want. Yeah. Nice. So what I'm planning to do is actually run a piece of conduit down to protect my cord instead of just having it hanging there and have all this happen to it. I did making a new plate for the switch. I had to move it over to accommodate my conduit. Two ohms. All right. Should be good to try it. Don't stand so close next time. You won't fall off the tripod, all right? That's better. Still a little snug. Sometimes you just tap the end bell a little bit and it loosens up. That helped out. Oh, that's even better. Basically, your end bell looks seated and tight, but it's still just a little bit off. That's pretty good. I don't want to run this too much because I don't want to rub that asbestos gasket out. But we should be able to give this a go and see if it runs. Beautiful. Working perfectly. So now all we gotta do is put this back in, and then I'll worry about running a proper cord to it after it's all painted. Got everything in place, tightened up properly, adjusted nice. Works good. You can really feel the air come out. And then when you move that flap down to closed, the air comes out on that bypass tube that goes down to the burner. But it feels like it's sucking on the exhaust, so I don't think you're supposed to operate it that way at all. Probably only run the fan when you have the door open. So you just have it closed when you first light your fire and you're warming up the firebox, I guess. Again, I gotta talk to my dad and find out how he operated this thing for sure. So that's it for this part. Thanks for watching.